Back from an off week, the NASCAR Winston Cup Series is back on JRTV for the 22nd race of the 2003 season. We're here at the Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania for the running of the Pennsylvania 500. Always one of the trickier racetracks we come to. Only 3 corners around this racetrack, a very long front stretch, and variable banking in each corner. This is a true test of everything a team has to throw at a racetrack, and we'll see which of these 42 drivers, which of these 42 teams can find victory lane for the second Pocono race of the season. I'm Joe Rokowski, alongside me in the booth. It is Trey Bardo. Trey, it's great to be back here at Pocono. It hasn't been too long since we were here. Last time we were here was just about 2 months ago. Keegan Thompson won the 400-miler then, but now, Trey, 100 miles longer, 8 laps longer. How is that going to play into the race here today at Pocono?
Well, you wouldn't think 8 laps is too much, right? Well, you know what? For these drivers, that's a while.
Especially around this 2.5-mile triangle, right? Takes a while to get around.
Yeah, 100%. And after a while, you just kind of you just kind of forget where you're at, and then all of a sudden, you're back on the long front stretch.
Well, you know what, Trey? There are some teams that actually knew where they were going around this racetrack in qualifying, and one of them, Hendrick Motorsports. While 2 of their cars didn't qualify that well, Thompson and Sierra start mid-pack in 16th and 18th. 2 cars sweep the front row positions. Lathan Strickland has been awfully consistent this season. Hasn't been able to find victory lane, though. He's looking for his first ever win with Hendrick Motorsports. He starts second, and to his inside, Justin Zeidel in the number 24, who has not won since the 2000 season, has had a very mediocre, very dismal season in terms of Hendrick standards. Trey, the only 2 Hendrick cars to not win the season start first and second at a track like Pocono, where track position is so important. Could this be some good omen for those 2 Hendrick drivers? Maybe one of them can finally find victory lane in the 2003 season?
Well, first off, they got to figure out who's going to end up going into turn 1 in the lead and who's going to fall back in second, if he can fall back in second, because, Joe, we know if he gets stuck on this outside, it's not going to turn out too good for you. But, I mean, with them starting up front, it's definitely a step in the right direction for these 2, and we'll have to, like you said, see if they can hold themselves up there and get a good finish out of this and possibly go for the win.
And some drivers behind them that really could have some good points days here today at the Pocono Raceway. Sarah Kirchner starts in 3rd place. What a great qualifying result for her. Evan Hunter finally had a good qualifying result in 4th. Riley Spruto in 6th. All drivers that are chasing the front 2 in the points. And the front 2 in the points are Brett, Sierra, and Mathis Wells. They start mid-pack here today at Pocono. Sierra back in 18th. Wells back in 19th. So we'll have to see if those 2 drivers stay back there, if maybe these championship drivers that are trying to get back into the fight can finish up inside the top 5, top 10, maybe even win the race, get as many points as possible here today at Pocono to try and get back up into that championship position. One team that's looking to get a driver into championship position is Richard Childress Racing. As mentioned, Sarah Kirchner could have a shot come later this season, but how about, she starts 3rd. Their other drivers start well as well. Conrad Evans starts in 7th. We have Atkins starting in 8th, and Kukulon starting in 13th. So, Trey, all 4 RCR cars qualified well here today at Pocono, but it's one thing to qualify well, it's another thing to race well. Do they have what it takes, do you think, to have the cars over the long haul, over the full 40 laps instead of just 1 lap pace?
I mean, anyone has that chance, right? As long as they, like you said, have the car off the trailer in practice, settled it up for the long haul, because I feel like there's a good chance that we are going to have a long run during this race. They definitely, are in contention for this. But normally, from what we've seen so far, Joe, this season, pit stops. One wrong adjustment and your race is over.
Or missing your pit stall when it's the last one on pit road could change your whole race, right?
Yeah, that I think he wants to forget about that.
Yeah, Mathis Wells is probably still a little disappointed over that. Luckily, he had a little bit longer to get over it because he had the off week, but we'll see if he can get over it with a win here today at Pocono. He starts in 19th place. He's going to try and come through the field. But, Trey, the big storyline coming out of Pocono on Friday at the track, it was announced the Penske Jasper lineup for the 2004 season. Not so surprising to see Mitchell Collins back in number 12. He's been very consistent for the team. He's won 2 races for the team over his tenure there. He's been with them since 2000, since his rookie season. He starts well here today. You have Jude Martinelli technically staying with the team because he's with Jasper right now. He'll move over to the 77 car that's going to be rebranded to for Penske Jasper Motorsports. But, Trey, the big story is who's in the number 2. And it's not Zachary Fitzwater Sr. anymore. It's now going to be Justin Zeidel moving over from Hendrick to drive that number 2 for Penske in the 2004 season. So that was kind of earth-shattering news right there to see Justin Seidel move from Hendrick, a team where he's been since 2000. But you have to think, both parties involved in this, Justin Seidel, Zachary Fedora Sr., that are kind of moving rides, whatnot. For Seidel, he definitely needed a change of scenery. He has not won since 2000, as mentioned, and he's kind of been the lowest of the Hendrick drivers when it comes to consistency as of late. And for Fitzwater, maybe he just wanted to get out of the team because he keeps failing inspection, right? After qualifying and after races and stuff, he's probably not too happy with that. He maybe wanted out himself, so maybe it could be a good change for both, but we don't know where Fitzwater is going yet. But Trey, the ironic part, Seidel starts in first on pole position. Fitzwater starts in 5th place, leaving Penske at the end of the season. What are the odds that as soon as it was announced, both drivers go out and have a very good qualifying result and have a shot to maybe go to victory lane here today at Pocono?
Well, we know that Seidel needs to show Penske that they made a good choice and, putting him in that 2 car there, which arguably is the head car at, that team. So he's got to show him that he's got to show them that he still's got what it takes to win races. And as for Fitzwater, he's got to show other teams that he can still, go out there and perform as well. I mean, he is technically now, Joe, a free agent, right? Anyone can sign him as long as they have a car.
Yep, exactly, and maybe they'll want to sign him because he's shown at times to have very good raw pace when he gets behind the wheel of a car that suits him. So we'll have to see which team decides to pick up Fitzwater, if any, for the 2004 season. We'll now go take a look at the track facts for the Pocono Raceway. It's a beautiful day in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. High 80s, a very nice breeze going here at the Pocono Raceway. It is a picture-perfect day for action in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. It's a 40-lap race, as mentioned, 8 laps longer than what we saw earlier in the summer. That leads out to 100 miles. The fuel window is 22 to 25 laps. They'll go just past the midpoint, not too much further. We'll see how that impacts strategy and how the drivers deal with coming off pit road, merging right into the racing groove in turn number 1. As mentioned, variable banking in all 3 turns. You have 14 degrees in turn 1, 8 in turn 2, and only 6 degrees to help you through turn number 3. And the last 9 Pocono 500-mile races have had 9 different winners. We'll see if we have another one here today, or if maybe a repeat like Evans or Wells or Thompson can find victory lane in a 500-mile Pocono race. It's about time to get going. Let's go down trackside, fire the cars up for the Pennsylvania 500 here at the Pocono Raceway.
Drivers, start your engines!
42 cars come to life and roll off pit road for the Pennsylvania 500 here at the Pocono Raceway. It's a long pace lap. Talk about a few drivers while in it. And let's start with the man in 10th place, Luke Rennie, 88. Trey, he's a Pennsylvania native. It's his home track. While he's from the other side of Pennsylvania, he still is a Pennsylvania driver at the Pennsylvania racetrack. And here he is starting in 10th place at number 88 car, looking for his first ever win at his home track. And, when you and Trey Rainey, 2 other Pennsylvania natives, came and raced here, you always got a warm welcome, a nice reception. Luke Rennie the same there. So Trey, can he get that first win this season here today in fashion at the Pocono Raceway in front of the fan favorite crowd?
Well, Joe, whenever you're a Pennsylvanian and you come to a PA track, especially Pocono here, you're automatically going to become a fan favorite. And I believe we have at least 2 Pennsylvanians in the field. So there's a lot of shirts out there representing the PA boys.
Jason Albert a little bit further back. We'll see if he can try to move his way through the field, have a good result in that number 41 car and trail. Let's go to the back of the field because that's not where you want to be. It's where you find 2 drivers that were set to start inside the top 15. Chris Jericho had a lot of momentum on his side, won the last race at Phoenix, took a week off to, kind of soak in that victory from Phoenix, came here to Pocono, was fastest in practice, qualified in 5th place. It was looking like it was going to be a great momentum builder for this number 18 team, but they failed the inspector after qualifying. He's in the back of the field with Tim Gary in the number 10 car. So Trey, for Chris Jericho, a lot of momentum on your side. It's all gone. How can he try and move his way through the field to keep himself in the championship fight here at Pocono?
I think this isn't the first time we've seen a previous winner go straight to the next race and get failed inspection and start at the rear of the field, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So it's not a uncommon here, but this 18's got a lot ahead of him. We know he's strong here, so we'll have to see if he can make his way through the field here and maybe get himself a good finish.
He's going to try and finish ahead that number 25 for sure. Brett Serra enters as the points leader, starts in 18th, but it's his 2 teammates, Seidel and Strickland, on the front row. Seidel steps on the gas, and we're going. At Pocono, the green flag is in the air. Well, that didn't take long to get 3 and 4 wide through turn 1. Colin Lewis was looking on Collins, who was looking on Randall and Luke Rainey. They sorted that out. Side by side for the lead. Sarah Kirchner takes it to the inside. Zidell. Evan Hunter wastes no time getting low. Evans goes 3 wide. It's a chaotic start to the race here at Pocono. 3 wide for a second in the tunnel turn.
You think Fitzy knows that who the guy on top of that 3 wide is?
I don't know. I just think he wants to go up here and lead this race and show maybe he shouldn't have gotten rid of me if it wasn't my choice. Well, Sarah Kirchner's saying, listen, I want to stay with RCR next season. She is gone in this number 33 car. Side by side for a second. Fitzwater on the inside, Hunter on the outside, and it's Kirchner to lead the first lap. 5 points there. Fitzwater going for a second, trying to clear Evan Hunter. The field mostly double foul now after a lot of 3 wide action early on.
That would be something, wouldn't it? The race right after the announcement, Fitzwater wins. That'd be a would that be a wholesome thing, or would that be a look at the mistake you made?
Could be a shots fired call right there, right?
Yeah, that'd be look at what you just got rid of.
And shots fired to other teams saying, listen, you can have this on your team next season. As they race through the tunnel turn, 3 wide again. Atkins in the middle. Strickland up top in the 48 for the second straight lap. Eli Brett was looking 3 wide back there. Jay Brando had a really good start, so did Mitchell Collins. They're flying through the field while Justin Zidell is backing up from pole position. Trey, he didn't get to lead but 500 feet of this race. He got passed immediately in turn 1, and now he's up top 3 wide, still dropping back through the field.
Yeah, so clearly there's something he's not very happy with the car, and his teammate. Really, I mean, the front 2 are 1 and 2, except on the outside lane and going backwards.
And they're going back there with their teammate Brett Sierra, who is the lowest starting Hendrick car right there. There's the 3 of them together. You wouldn't think that on lap number 3 they would have been all together. Brett Sierra started 18th. Zidell started on pole. Strickland started 2nd. Well, here and there they've come together just around 15th place. Zidell is still 3 wide into the tunnel turn. Gonna try and give to Justin Atkins. Jay Randall, the one backing up on the outside. Now he scrapes the wall. 3 wide further back as Chris Jericho makes a big move in the number 18. Everyone trying to sort it out. Mostly double foul now. Mathis Wells following Brett Sierra up through the field. Through turn 3 they go. On the bottom of the racetrack, Sierra's moving ground, and Mathis Wells trying to follow him through, not let him get too far away in the number 20 car.
This is so update me again. Who's second in points?
Mathis Wells.
Mathis Wells. Okay. So we'll have to see if the second place in points curse continues. I mean, technically, continued last race.
It did, and here we go for the lead. Sarah Kirchner led the first 3 laps outright, but now Zachary Fitzwater Sr. got the run down into turn 1, makes the move to the inside, and Fitzwater noses ahead into the tunnel turn. The preferred lane is on the bottom of the racetrack. He has it. Conrad Evans moving through for second place on teammate Kirchner. Fitzwater goes wide out of the tunnel turn, but luckily kept it going on the out of the wall. Fitzwater through to the lead. Evans to second. Kirchner trying to keep third. But here comes Mitchell Collins and Evan Hunter down to the bottom of the racetrack. Luke Rainey moving up in the number 88 car from his 10th place starting spot. And Colin Lewis started inside the top 15. He's working his way up inside the top 10 for Ultra Melling Motorsports. There he is moving through the field, that number 91 car. Just the last car in that about 5 car pack, 6 car pack in 8th place.
That's looking strong today, Joe.
Yes, they are. They made that announcement, and now all of a sudden they found some speed, haven't they?
Well, one's comfortable, the other one not so much. But, I mean, again, this just shows that I feel like there's a trend with this team, Joe Penske. It's that when one's off, they're both off, but when one's on, they're both on.
It's also their team owner runs Minnick's home race, so you don't want to perform bad at the boss's home tracks, and I think they're showing that right now. First and third, Fitzwater leading, Collins in third. The guy between them is Conrad Evans, who's 1 year before, back in his rookie season of 2000, looking to get back to victory lane for just the second time this season. Remember, he won earlier in the season at Talladega after missing that very big crash, found a way through it, and found a way to victory lane with that. Zachary DeLello moving up nicely to number 16, moving up for 6th place, getting by Sarah Kirchner, bringing Colin Lewis to the inside. Matthew Burnett didn't start all that well. He's racing well up inside the top 10, bringing Justin Atkins. Remember, for Burnett, while he was with Roush Racing, one of the best teams that's been in the Winston Cup Series the past few seasons, he has not won since 2001 at Texas. So it's been a while for Matthew Burnett. Maybe today can be the day. He's marched his way up through a lot of the field and still going. Getting by Kirchner. Once again, led the first 3 laps, but has fallen back on the outside. Can't find a way down in line. And don't look now, but the points leader, Brett Sierra, marching forward, going for a top 10 spot. That number 25 looks pretty good. Started 18th place, was on the outside. Immediately found a way down in line. Kirchner climbs the hill. Brett Sierra's going to get another spot right there.
No, Joe, there's a reason why this guy's leading the points right now. That's because no matter where he starts, he always seems to find himself inside the top 10 at some point in this race.
And there he is up to 10th place again by Sarah Kirchner. For second, trying to make it a Penske 1-2. Mitchell Collins looking out, and Conrad Evans, the third one, got the draft. Evan Hunter goes high as he had nowhere to go, or to try and maybe take it lower than the 12 would have been a bad choice. He might lose out now because here comes Luke Rennie for fourth place. And as these guys battle like they were, fifth on back is going to run them down using some draft. Excuse me, sixth on back is going to run them down using some draft. Sierra had cleared Kirchner. The 33 back to the inside. Mathis Wells a few cars back is up, and he can get up there and fill the hole to the bottom lane because he does not want Brett to stay down low. He wants to shuffle him back immediately. But looks like Brett might get the gap right there to get down in between the 33 and the 20 as well as send it in. He couldn't. Sierra's down in line in 11th place, staying ahead of his closest championship rival at the moment.
Well, I mean, Wells is doing what he needs to do. That's to stay with the 25 right now. So he's doing what he needs to do. But Joe, Penske 1-2, they're making the moves right now.
Yes, they are, and so is the Pennsylvania native Luke Rennie, the 88, going for third on Conrad Evans into turn number 1. He's going to take it on the bottom of the racetrack. Zachary DeLello moving up for fourth place. He's not yet won this season, so we have a lot of drivers looking for their first wins of the season, moving up towards the front of the field. Here comes Luke Rennie for second on Mitchell Collins, down the second of the straightaways, the second longest of the straightaways. Luke Rennie to the inside for second place. That Penske 1-2, while it happened for about half a lap, short-lived because Luke Rennie moves through to second place, and now is his sights set in his old ride from 2000 with Fitzwater behind the wheel. That's the number 2 Penske car.
Has Luke ever led here before?
I don't know, honestly. I don't think he's ever had a car good enough to be up here and leading laps, throughout the race. Because normally, it once you kind of fall in line after about 5 laps, you kind of just stay there. I don't think Luke's ever had the car to really perform all that well at the beginning. Here comes Collins, though. You see Luke trying to block it. 12 1 second right back.
We'll have to see if Luke can get some sort of run coming out of the corner here. I don't know if he's going to get enough. If he does, not really. That 12 got a really good exit on the bottom.
Yeah, they just stay door to door down Long Pond straightaway. Here comes DeLello. Here comes Colin Lewis to make it even lower in the number 91. He'll move on to DeLello for fourth place, and that might move to a battle for third because Luke Rennie's up the hill. So Colin Lewis for Melling Ultra Motorsports having a very impressive run, this number 91 car, going up for third place. We've seen Bibi Rose's team owner and teammate have impressive runs, and you think about, the last race at Phoenix where he had a good run. Well, here's his teammate, his driver Colin Lewis, racing up inside the top 5 among the likes of Penske, Robert Yates Racing, Richard Childress Racing, and Roush and Hendrick. There's a lot of big teams up here, and Colin Lewis is in the midst of them. Look at them all scrambling around into turn number 1.
I thought 17 was trying to go 3 wide there for a second.
I think he was, and he just didn't have the run to make it work as Brett Serra still moving through the field. Number 25 got by Evans, now trying to get by Zachary DeLello at the front. Fitzwater's lead is tightening up. Here comes Collins back. Luke Rennie trying to look for a pass. Kirchner blocking her teammate Justin Atkins. He goes up the track. Here comes Brett Serra, the 25, looking for another spot. And once again, right behind him is Matt Tuck. Got the wall pretty big back there, the 32. Luckily kept it out of anyone beneath them. Here comes Mathis Wells trying to find a way by Brett Serra to then gain points on the 25 instead of right now he's losing some points to the 25.
Yeah, I mean, really, again, Wells is doing what he needs to do. He's in range to jump whenever he needs to. I mean, I don't really think Wells needs the pressure that much until pit stops come.
Here we go for the lead. 2 Penske cars going after it. Mitchell Collins and Zachary Fitzwater Sr., the 2 led some laps. Now Collins says, I want to lead some laps. Here he comes to the bottom lane on lap number 11. Lead change again here at Pocono. Mitchell Collins to the front. Matthew Burnett, a big dive on Colin Lewis. Going for fourth place. Luke Rennie for second place on Fitzwater. He'll follow Collins through. 88 car now looking for the lead off turn number 2. Got a good run. Can he get the draft from Collins and get a run into turn 3? All over the back bumper. There he moves to the inside.
This 88 is looking like a force to be messing with. He fell back a little bit, but he slowly made his way back up. And Joe, he is now leading in a home state. Home track for him.
Do you see that crowd, Trey? Do you see them all jumping up and down there, waving their hats? Luke Rennie leads in the Pennsylvania 500, bringing Matthew Burnett to the inside. Sarah Kirchner to the inside as well in the 33, going for third place. Luke Rennie leads into turn 1. Here comes Burnett right behind him. Burnett trying to get the run. It kind of stalled out a little bit. Everyone falls in line in the front 6. Everyone's still together, though. Look at this. We have about 20 cars still really together here at Pocono.
One thing I've always noticed, you might always think you're the fan favorite, whoever you are in this series, maybe like an Eli Bright or someone, right? But whenever you get to a home state of a driver and he ends up taking the lead, it's hard to hear the cars.
Yeah, it's that shows then that you're not maybe the most popular driver here at this racetrack, but overall you might be the most popular among the series. But when you go to specific tracks, like you mentioned, there are some drivers that just, have that warm welcome, have the better reception because they're from the state or even from very near the areas. Here comes Mitchell Collins on Matthew Burnett trying to get back to the lead. Collins, even though he took the lead there from his teammate Fitzwater, actually never got to lead a lap, so never got 5 bonus points. So Mitchell Collins definitely wants to get back up towards the front, but Burnett, who's had a very, very struggling season, and even last season kind of struggling in this number 17 car, he's moving up. He wants a lead. He wants a win. There he's looking on Luke Rennie, but did the run kind of stall out? He's going to look to the inside the tunnel turn. There he goes for the lead, and Trey, what a great race we've seen so far here at Pocono. Lead change after lead change, and still a lot of cars in it to win it, in a gap to where if they undercut, they could possibly gain a lot of spots and be up with a shot to win it.
I don't know who I have a favorite here.
The fans are the favorite right now because they're getting a lot of the action here.
Yeah. Oh no, the fans always win here, right, Joe? I mean, Pocono's a great track. We've had this is probably one of the most competitive races we've seen here, though.
Yeah, I'd say definitely the most competitive of this millennium for sure. We've not seen a Pocono race like this on JRTV.
What's a millennium?
It's basically just
like
1,000 years.
Isn't that the ship?
Yeah, it's a ship. It's it's like this 1,000 years, so it's like 2000. Start the new millennium.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know those words. That's a scientific word. Nope, I'm not. I never passed science class.
Oh, okay.
So,
Is that why you became a race car driver?
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Numbers.
Not much science involved.
I let the crew chief do the science part of it.
Yeah. The crew chief only needs to know the numbers part. The only numbers you need to know is the numbers of the competitors out there on the racetrack. And even then, you don't really need to know that.
Majority of the time, they're behind me. So, I just need to know how many laps were left so I know when I can go back and get a beer.
I guess so. But while that was going on, look at this, looking 3 wide into turn 1. Strickland trying to get some ground back, putting on the choke, gives Racing Boys into turn 1. Mathis Wells got kicked to the high side by DeLello a few laps ago, and it's done nothing but drop back since then. Number 20 is fading through the field, while Brett Sierra is moving through the field up to 6th place. And it's bad when your teammate who started in the last row, 41st place, just passed you on the racetrack, and we haven't even gotten to pit cycles yet. And for the lead, Luke Rennie wants it back from Matthew Burnett.
You hear that again, Joe?
It's a roar. A very loud roar.
It's, these fans, I don't know about you, I'm looking down at them. They're going, it seems like he just took the lead for the first time again.
They're going ham down there. Matthew Burnett, though, got a great run off the top of turn 3, getting trapped from Luke Rennie, pulling right up behind him again. We look for a pass into turn 1. I don't think he's close enough to do it, so he'll stay behind him for now into turn number 1. This brings Atkins through to 3rd, Colin Lewis to 4th, and the points leader, Brett Sierra, finding a way, going for 5th place on Mitchell Collins. He's moved up 13 spots from the green flag. We've only completed 15 laps. What a run through the field for Brett Sierra. Moving in this number 25, that's 5th place with Mitchell Collins, DeLello right with him. And how about Eli Bright? DEI as a whole struggled in qualifying. All 3 cars outside the top 25 in qualifying. Well, here's Eli Bright at least, up inside the top 10. They made good adjustments. He just passed Fitzwater for 9th, going for 8th on Fitzwater's teammate Mitchell Collins.
It's, I don't know if, maybe these front 4 guys have heard, but that 25 looks angry for some reason, and he's making it known that he's angry. He's got a good long run car too, Joe.
Yes,
keep that in mind.
I think that's the difference where, the Penske cars, very good on fire off, but Trey, they have not been good once we've gotten about, 12, 13 laps on the tires. They've sunk through the field. You can see Fitzwater's now outside the top 10. Mitchell Collins about to join them outside the top 10. While the Hendrick cars, surprisingly, are starting to move their way back forward. Zidell and Strickland lost ground on the early run. You thought they would have been good on their early run because they qualified 1st and 2nd, but they're starting to move back forward when the tires wear.
Yeah, definitely. So, that just shows you that, no matter what, as long as you're within the first pack or 2, or you can always gain a lot of spots on the long run here if you have that car. Now, I mentioned it. You got to be careful on this pit stop because if you think you need something and it's the wrong way, or the one wrong tick or one too many notches, your race is essentially over.
Well, the nice thing about this pit road is that the driver should be decently fine because it's a very wide pit road. It's a very long pit road. Your pit boxes are so wide and so long. it could be nearly impossible to miss it. And pit road is so wide itself when you're coming off of pit road and merging, into the lanes to leave. You should have enough lanes that you don't have to run into another car. So this is one of the easier pit roads for drivers. It still doesn't mean that, hey, they're not going to hit each other. They're not going to have issues on pit road. But the issues are are a lot harder to happen here at Pocono rather than a track, say, like Dover or Martinsville or Phoenix, where pit road is so narrow and so tight.
I was going to say, I feel like if we felt that at other tracks before and something's also happened.
Yeah, exactly. That's just how it goes. That's how these drivers push the limits on pit road, and we see that week in and week out as Brett Searer goes for third place on Matthew Burnett. Atkins has gotten through to second. Luke Rennie still leads in the 88 car. Kirchner trying to come back up through the field. Seidel hanging on to the back half of the top 10. Moving on, Crown Jr., that's for 11th. 10th place just in front of him, Evan Hunter. Searer's going to clear Burnett this time down Long Pond straightaway for third place. And it's a great time to get in our Gatorade audience analysis for this week. Last week, we had asked, this one was very lopsided as well, how many different winners will the 2003 Winston Cup season end with? And, well, I guess not too surprisingly, but a large majority, Trey, about 85% of the vote said we'll have 15 to 17 different winners at season's end.
Are we at right now 13?
We're at 13.
So 2 more winners. Yeah, I can see that. That's like, I think it's two votes in a row. Is that 2 in a row? That's been like 80 plus?
Yep, very lopsided.
Yeah, alrighty. Well, we'll have to see if we can go 3 in a row now.
Well, we'll see if this one's lopsided with the announcement of Penske's move for the 2004 season, picking up Seidel and releasing Fitzwater from the number 2 ride. The question is, where will Fitzwater end up racing for the 2004 season? Will it be Roush Racing? They have about 3 open seats over there. How about Hendrick Motorsports? They've lost Seidel now. They only have 1 driver signed for 2004. There's still 3 spots open there. Maybe could it be Richard Childress? The number 33 is open there, or is he not going to be racing in NASCAR next season?
That's a tough question. I could see him going. Honestly, I could see Hendrick wanting the publicity and the fans, the sponsorship and all that comes with Fitzwater going to that 24. I mean, that number's already big in itself, right? And then you add Fitzwater to the name, who's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Vocal character.
Yep.
I think that could bring a spotlight. I won't say a good or a bad spotlight, but a spotlight to that team.
All right. Well, we'll see if the fans agree with you that it might be Hendrick Motorsports, Jordan Edwards, the team owner, to pick up Fitzwater at season's end. We're about to get to pit stops. We're about a lap or so from it. Luke Rennie still leads in the 88. Atkins has run him down. Kirchner and DeLello have gotten by Brett Searer. He's dropped back a few spots. Give a shout out to some other drivers through the field. Nathan Barrett has moved up nicely for Bill Davis Racing to 16th place. Chris Jericho's right with him in the number 18 car. He's moved up from 41st on the grid to now 16th. Barrett's up to 15th now. Nathan Stapleton have a solid day inside the top 20 in 18th place. Hunter Reed a solid day inside the top 20. Strickland's drop back. Fitzwater's back to 23rd. Joshua Harrison up inside the top 25. Tim Gary from 42nd is up to 26th. Jason Albert, one of the PA drivers, in the top 30. Keyshawn Richardson struggling today. He has not been good this weekend, not been good in the race. He's down in 29th place. Nolan Lawrence in 30th. Keegan Thompson, who won here earlier this season, all the way down in 33rd in the number 5. Jordan Stout's down in 35th, another driver who struggled here this weekend. And how about Sebastian Kukulan, who started in 13th place, has dropped down and has been down in the 40s all race long. Kukulan currently scored in 40th place in the number 29 car. It's been a dismal day for him, while his teammate Justin Atkins runs in second place. We have a car going on to pit road, starting the cycle of green flag pit stops. You can see it's Angel Gutierrez, one of them, coming down pit road. A few others as well made the move. So the pit cycle started. This is a good move for Chris Jericho. Didn't have the track position, comes in early. He's going to try and leapfrog some drivers with fresh tires sooner.
I was say pit road's pretty empty, so he should not have any problem getting on and or off pit road. So we'll have to see how many are coming in this time. I would assume maybe half the field, give or take. Now that they've heard that cars are starting to come on, some of them are going to want to jump, especially with them being this close to each other.
Looks like Atkins is looking low because he might be trying to undercut Luke Rainey, but will the 88 see that and maybe get called in? He's going to stay out while Atkins is going to try and undercut him with his teammate Kirchner. Evan Hunter's coming in, Matthew Burnett, Colin Lewis. Here comes Brett Sierra, who was fading there at the end of that run. He's back with Matt as well as his teammate Justin Zeidel. So as you mentioned, maybe a little over half, as you can see right there.
Oh,
big congestion. We have contact at the back end of pit road. Look at that. Max Davis
We got a wreck.
has spun with the number 40 of Benny Lynn. It's on pit road, so the caution has not yet been called. We're staying green. Everything's clear. As long as there's no debris at pit entrance, we'll stay under the green flag. And this man definitely didn't want to see a caution. He would have been trapped out. He would have been having to pit under the yellow, and everyone would have gotten the spots in front of him.
Yeah, he's definitely lucked away with that one. There, we'll have to see whenever we get the chance to look at a replay what happened and caused that. But I think he's coming in this time, as should everyone else, unless someone decides to gamble and go just one more lap.
If you want those 5 points, maybe you
I
do
don't-
that. But
I don't think anyone's doing it, Joe.
yeah, everyone's saying, you know what, I've had enough with these tires. As Atkins leaves of that group in front with Kirchner in second, the number 33, then Evan Hunter. Look at the jump for Chris Jericho. That one lap got him in front of about 3, 4, 5 cars that came in front of him. And there might be some more. He's going to be up inside the top 10 here, Trey. He's the 5th off of these guys that have already pitted, and there's not too many in front of him that are going to stay in front of him when they come off pit road. That was a great jump for Chris Jericho. What a great strategy call by his crew chief to come in sooner than anyone.
I'm curious to see where Rainey comes out compared to this 30 here, because that 30 looks fast. Luke Rainey's just now getting out.
And watch the merge.
Oh.
Watch the merge into turn 1 where you basically go onto the racing groove.
So far, so good.
Yeah, it's normally when you're battling like this,
Ooh.
when you're trying to go side by side and cars are coming off pit road on the bottom lane. That's when you can't really go anywhere but into another car. But it looks like that was a little sketchy, but it looks like everyone is going to negotiate it without causing a caution flag, without getting involved in a crash.
That was good. We're proud of them. They're learning.
And a great stop for the 88 crew, because they had tires on that were worn and worse than these guys around them, but they were able to basically hold their lead over Atkins. Remember, the 30 came in pit road right on the back bumper of the 88, while Luke has good tires
how much
now.
he closed up.
Yeah, and that's just because
How
Luke
much?
is trying to get his tires up to temp, and the RCR cars are going to work together. Atkins with a push from Sarah Kirchner down to the bottom lane for the lead here at Pocono. But remember, Luke Rainey later in the race is going to have a lap better tires than them. He can try and pass them back. And remember, his car also looks faster, as here comes Kirchner trying to get the lead from her teammate.
I was gonna say that that's how teammates work together, but not anymore.
Not anymore, but also Kirchner's not yet won the season. She's never won in the Winston Cup Series. She has a great chance in front of her. She can't let it slip away. To the inside for the lead in the tunnel turn. Evan Hunter's joined the fun. Zach Nalello has joined. Here comes Chris Jericho. He's up going for 6th place on Riley's Spur Tube. Cleared him with these through the tunnel turn. Jericho to 6th. Luke Rennie coming back at Atkins. So the 30 got the lead into turn 1. It might fall to 4th now by the time we get to the start-finish line. Kirchner back to the lead. Remember, she led early on. Her car was good on the short run. Did they make the adjustments, though, to keep the car good on the long haul?
Now, Rainey here, right, he's got one key thing. He cannot panic. Cannot push the car harder than it needs to be pushed. He cannot, try to make drastic moves. He knows he's had a good, or honestly, probably the best long-run car here. And he's got plenty of time to make up these spots in this space. So he's just got to run his race, not worry, not really do anything drastic. And if the spotter and crew chief are doing their job, they're letting him know that as well.
I was going to say, he was going to have a great chance because it looked like Hunter was going to pass Kirchner, but he didn't get the run through turn 1, so they stayed single file at the front. But Luke is in the draft. He's running them back down. Justin Atkins, all sorts out of shape through the tunnel turn, lost so much ground. Here comes Jericho right up onto him. Jericho's now getting a stiff a draft. He could be one to try and challenge here at the end. Started back in 41st place. Could someone who failed inspection have to come from the back at Pocono, of all places, have a shot to win at the end?
Wouldn't count this guy out. I don't think you can ever count this guy out.
I mean, I never count him out, but I mean, at Pocono, of all places, Trey, where you know how hard it is to pass, 10, 15 cars here. How about him having to pass 41 cars here to try and get to victory lane? He's so far passed a lot of them.
They say he did, 30 or 20 or so under green flags and another, 10 under pit stops?
Yeah, so he's He's done about 35 already, just a few more to go as Evan Hunter passes a car, passes Sarah Kirchner, a push from Luke Rainey back to the lead, but here comes the 88 with a run through the tunnel turn down to the inside. Luke wants the lead back from Evan Hunter. Trey, we've had so many more lead changes that we're going to have shown in the stats because we've had about 3 or 4 drivers get to the front, lead, but not get to lead a lap because someone passed them immediately back. It's Luke Rennie this time, getting back to the front. A big push from DeLello down the front straightaway. The 88 leads the lap. Rennie back out in front with 12 laps to go in the Pennsylvania 500, but DeLello wants to lead into turn 1.
Yeah, I don't know what's gotten into these guys for this race, but they're feeling very racy today.
I like it. This has been a fantastic Pocono race, and we still have 12 more laps of it, and look at all the cars still with a shot to win it.
Honestly, I wouldn't count out the 30, the 18, or that 97 there either.
And Jay Rando quietly moving his way back up into the picture, trying to get Roush a victory here today. Atkins getting close to Evan Hunter, almost making contact there. Kirchner back through the second. Rainey gonna try and keep third. Here comes Atkins, looking to send it on the 88. Luke gets down in line. Atkins to fourth, and Chris Jericho from the back going for fifth. So, Trey, as he moves to fifth now by Evan Hunter, this is where he would have started the race had he not failed inspection.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks is that, in his head, he's probably feeling a lot more exhausted than he would if he would have started fifth because, it takes a lot to pass cars, especially with however many he passed, right? Thinking strategy-wise, where you want to put your car and all that mentally. And now, the adrenaline's starting to kick in for this guy. He sees 4 cars ahead of him, and that 4th car is for the lead. So we'll have to see if he can continue to work his way up front here, or whatever ends up happening throughout this.
Yeah, I don't think he would have expected to see the leader not too far in front of him. That's just how it played out. Riley Spurley tube into the wall of the tunnel turn. He drops back. Brett Sierra trying to pass him. While talking about that, Mathis Wells on this run has passed Brett Sierra. Wells is up now to 13th place. Zidell and Roberto Crown Jr. between he and his championship rival Brett Sierra. So he's gaining a few points on the 25 right now. Sierra back in 16th while Wells is in 13th. Wells can gain some spots as well. Eli Brent, some others just in front. Here comes Randall and Chris Jericho for 5th place. 97 Trey. Sitz coming off pit road. Has probably been the fastest car out here. Jericho's probably going to let him go here. Let that 97 try and run those guys down in front because Randall has been flying. They made some great adjustments on pit road. He is a threat to win this thing after not being mentioned in the first half of the race, really.
Yeah, and the only thing he's got to worry about is this 88, having to get past him as well because, Joe, it's slowly starting to come back to where it was. He's now in 2nd place. There's a gap between him and the leader, but wouldn't be surprised to see him close that up pretty quick.
And RCR guys going side by side. Justin Atkins trying to get back by Sarah Kirchner. Here comes Jay Randall, Chris Jericho, and Evan Hunter, and Matthew Burnett back into it as well. 8 cars up here with a shot to win it. DeLello, Luke Rainey, Sarah Kirchner, Matthew Burnett have not yet won this season. We're going 3 wide for third into turn number 1. Jay Randall, the big move in the number 97 car, and the 2 RCR teammates. Evan Hunter trying to follow through in the bottom lane. Where can Kirchner go? Does she back out? She does. Atkins gets up in front. Some crazy stuff as Rando trying to get up to the front too. He's moving low on Justin Atkins as for 3rd place. His teammate Matthew Burnett not too far back. We have 3 Roush cars with a shot to win it. I would not have expected to say that after how qualifying and practice went for them.
Yeah, definitely. Now that the 97 is out single file host, see if he can drive away from these guys and try to catch that 88 and 16. Them battling really helped Luke Rainey separate himself and the leader. So that way, if they ever do battle, they got enough room to where, there's a good chance that 3rd place can't catch up.
And a great battle still going on behind the front 3. Hunter gets through to 4th, Burnett to 5th, Jericho to 6th. All that at the expense of 2 RCR cars. Atkins and Kirchner are on the outside with nowhere to go but backwards. And while those guys battle, Nathan Stapleton for Chip Ganassi Racing is up inside the top 10. He can move some spots further forward. He's in 9th. Nathan Baird for Bill Davis Racing is up in 10th. And Eli Bright up to 11th again by Colin Lewis from Melling Ultra Motorsports. Mathis Wells still hanging steady right there in 13th place, going for 12th on Lewis as Baird looks on Nathan Stapleton. The 2 RCR teammates battle side by side. And all the while, Luke Rainey closes on DeLello, but Jay Randall closes on Luke Rainey.
I know that there's a race going on for the lead right now, but Joe, look how many spots this 20 can get right now on this 25.
Exactly, yeah. Mathis Wells can pass Stapleton right there. Justin Atkins still on the outside. Nathan Baird and Eli Bright and Sarah Kirchner as Eli goes high. Matthews Wells has a run to the bottom. 3 cars get away at the front. Then it's another pack of 3, and that's a pack of about 10 racing for 7th place.
That'd be weird to say, but this 20 might be getting in the top 5 here pretty soon.
He could, absolutely. I mean, these guys keep getting the draft from the guys in front, and they find a way to get up right to those front 6 possibly. Here comes Rando. Got the run on Luke Rainey, going for 2nd place, trying to join his teammate at the front of the field. 7 to go. Jay Rando and Luke Rainey for 2nd.
Now, how do teammates play together?
I mean, Jay Rando's faster, right? So he can't just stay behind DeLello.
At 16's hungry, Joe.
I know he's not yet won this season, but Jay Rando wants to try and get his way up into the championship fight. I mean, he's been a little agitated as of late, Rando has, saying, you know, oh, I finished 13th and I still lost a spot or 2 in points. How did that happen? And, you know, he has multiple wins this season, but he's not up into the fight for the championship. Well, here today he can try and establish himself back up there. He's up to 2nd place. It's a Ford 1, 2, 3 here at Pocono with DeLello, Rando, and Luke Rainey 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Hunter up to 4th, Burnett in 5th, and Jericho in 6th. These 6 cars have gotten away. Kirchner all by her lonesome in 7th. We have Baird up in 8th. Wells to 9th. Brett Sears still stuck back outside the top 15, trying to get some more spots from Stapleton and Atkins, but he's lost a lot of ground to Matthews Wells, losing a lot of points to Matthews Wells as they run, and Wells on the bumper of Nathan Baird for 8th place. Could get a spot there and could get a spot from Kirchner. Back around to 5 to go. Rando's closed the gap. He's all over the back bumper. Zachary DeLello. Can he try and find a way around him in these final 5 laps?
Well, to see if the 16 plays any defense here. He might have a good run going into 1 here. Will he make the move on his teammate? He is.
For the lead in turn 1, Jay Rando has flown through the field after pit stops. Here he comes, side by side with DeLello. The 16 will not give in. He's not going to let it go without a fight. This brings Luke Rainey up into the battle for the win as well. Down Long Pond straightaway, side by side for the lead. They're slowing each other down. Luke Rainey has a run into the tunnel turn. Where does he go with it? Rando has the preferred lane. DeLello on the outside. Luke Rainey's going to get a nice run off the tunnel turn. Where does he go with it? He's going to follow Rando for now. Evan Hunter up onto the battle. Rando clears to the lead. Luke Rainey's going to try and clear for a second to keep touch with the number 97. If not, Rando could easily gap the field and pull away.
Luke Rainey's not going to clear, Joe. He didn't do it. He's got no help either. This 36 is looking like he wants to, but he's not going to commit to helping Luke Rainey on the bottom. This is gonna hurt. He's actually getting past.
Yeah, it pushed DeLello to 2nd. Hunter's going to try and go for 3rd, but he has the outside 1, which is not the preferred lane. So Luke should be able to keep 3rd. He's going to slide up in front of Evan Hunter. The 36 is going to maybe try and get the draft and cross back under. Chris Jericho wants a top 5 for Matthew Burnett. There goes Hunter. As Luke went high, Hunter went low. They swapped positions. Hunter down to the inside for 3rd place. Matthew Burnett, Chris Jericho right behind that. And Zachary DeLello closing back in on teammate and race leader Jay Rando. He got a good run off turn 2. Closing in to turn 3, and Matthews Wells got a spot from Nathan Baird. Another spot further forward versus Brett Sierra.
To say this battling is going to help Wells too. It's only going to close him up closer and possibly gain more spots here. And you look who's in this pack. It's his teammate, the 18. You wonder if Wells can get close enough. There might be a little bit of a team play there, but we'll have to see what happens out of that. As Joe, these front 2 cleared themselves here. The 16 looks like he's starting to battle back some, but does he have enough?
He is with 3 laps to go. Here's the question though: If he can stay there, does he wait until the last lap? Because right now they have a 2nd over the rest of the field. If they get side by side, that 2nd can disappear in about 5 seconds. So does DeLello wait and say, you know what, a Roush car can win this race if I wait until the last lap? If I battle too soon, someone like Evan Hunter or Luke Rainey or Sarah Kirchner, Matthews Wells could steal it, because Wells making a move on teammate Chris Jericho, and Luke Rainey's also on the outside. Back around to 2 laps to go in the Pennsylvania 500. It's been a long one, but it's been a great one here at Pocono, and it's down to 2 Roush teammates. Rando leading DeLello through turn 3. The 16 with a good run right to the bumper. Can he get the run to turn 1? 2 laps to go at Pocono.
We'll see what he decides to do here, if he does what you think he should do and wait till the last lap, or if he's going to make a move now. Joe, he looks like he's committed behind his teammate.
For now, he is committed, but will he be committed all the way to the checkered flag through turn 1? Rando and DeLello, nose to tail, over a 2nd on their nearest competitor, Evan Hunter. Hunter is in 3rd. Burnett, their other teammate, is up to 4th. Kirchner's in 5th. Wells is up to 6th. And then a scramble of cars behind them. racing into the tunnel turn. DeLello all over the bumper, trying to get Jay Randall loose to the tunnel turn. Looking down to the bottom, down the run to make it work. Kirchner moving on Matthew Burnett. Wells trying to protect from teammate Chris Jericho. Brett Serra lost ground on that last lap, trying to get some spots back. Back around to the white flag here at Pocono. Randall still leads off DeLello.
There's a time to do it. It's now, Joe, because this is where majority of the passes happens down in the turn 1. Is he going to get the run, though? He's kind of far back. I don't know if he's going to get it, though.
I don't know if he's quite close enough. There's the last lap, the white flag waving in the wind. 1 to go in the Pennsylvania 500. Randall leads DeLello into turn number 1. It's a 2-horse race for the win here at Pocono. And it's 2 Roush Racing teammates. Randall off turn 1 clean. Down Long Pond straightaway ahead of Zach DeLello. Hunter keeps in 3rd. Kirchner keeps in 4th. Wells trying to get 5th from Matthew Burnett. Down into the tunnel turn. Can DeLello get the run here to try and make a pass in turn number 3? Randall holds the bottom well. DeLello doesn't gain, doesn't lose. It's neck and neck into turn number 3. Does the 16 send it in, looking for his first win of the season? Randall protects the bottom well as they work their way through turn 3. It's a Roush Racing battle all the way to the checkered flag. Jay Randall's going to hold off the challenge from teammate DeLello to win the Pennsylvania 500.
Did Wells get 5th?
He did not. He was about a car width from getting it over Matthew Burnett.
But, Joe, I mean, that right there shows you how hard it is to pass here, especially when it's just down to car versus car, when you don't have that help behind you, someone pushing you. I mean, it's just it's just a waiting game to see who can make a mistake or who doesn't.
Yep, and Jay Randall never blinked, never made the mistake. He comes home the victor in the Pennsylvania 500 here at Pocono, just edging teammate Zach DeLello for the win. And I'm sure DeLello, disappointed, definitely would have wanted to get that first win on the season, but this was definitely his best race of the season. A lot of good momentum moving into the final 10 races of the season, and for Jay Randall, a lot of good momentum as well. 1-2 races early on the season, kind of disappeared, never really talked about him since then. He's back on the map with the win here at Pocono, win number 3 on the season, trying to get back up there in that championship fight. And speaking of the championship fight, Mathis Wells beat Brett Serra today, got a few more points on the 25. Serra did limit the damage loss, though, finished up inside the top 15, not too far behind Mathis Wells.
Yeah, definitely. So that's going to, you know, I wouldn't say it's going to make Serra nervous, but it's going to make him concerned, because once that 20 and JGR gets momentum, Joe, we've seen it how many times before, they just cook with it.
Yep, last 2 seasons, they came from behind in the championship to get to the championship stage at the end of the season. As we'll go take a look at the finishing results from the Pennsylvania 500, it was Jay Randall on top in the number 97, beating teammate DeLello by less than a tenth all the way to the checker flag. Evan Hunter 2 seconds back ends up in 3rd, with Sarah Kirchner in 4th, and Matthew Burnett making it 3 Roush cars inside the top 5. He holds on for 5th. Mathis Wells tried his best, came within about a car length of 5th place at the end, helped himself for 6th. Luke Rainey dominated early on. The pit stops and maybe the adjustments didn't go his way. He ends up in 7th. Chris Jericho from 41st place. Have to give a shout out to him, passing 33 cars to get to 8th place there at the end, and it wasn't even the highest he was all day long. Justin Zeidel fell back from pole. He was outside the top 20 at points today, but rallies back for a 9th place, a very solid day. And Kyle Lewis from Melling Ultra Motorsports, the underdog, gets a top 10. How about Eli Bright from a little bit further back in the field, gets 11th. Brett Serra battles back up to get to 12th at the end. Conrad Evans, Nathan Baird, a solid day. Bertie Crown Jr. top 15. Nathan Stapleton a top 20. Jordan Stout was trashed during the race, but found a way to get to 19th there at the end. Just like teammate Rando, they must have made some really good adjustments. He gained a lot of spots after pit stops. Ryan Wilson rounds at the top 20. There's the 2 Penske cars. Led early on, they got 21st and 22nd. Just like the other Roush cars, Keyshawn Richardson found a way to finish the race a lot better than he was racing in 24th. And give a shout out to Jason Albert, another one of the PA guys, 23rd place, a very solid day after where he started. Here today, Tim Gary from 42nd battles up to get 27th, a very decent day. Angel Gutierrez at top 30 with Jude Martinelli, and Keegan Thompson didn't race well in 29th. Lathan Strickland in 31st started 2nd here today. The Evernham cars didn't race, 32nd, 33rd. Kukulon gained some spots, but only 34th. That's a drop of 20 or 21 positions from his starting spot. Joshua Harrison dropped from the midpoint of the race. Benny Lynn dropped, and Matt Tuck and Max Davis, obviously Davis involved in the pit road jam-up was spun around at the entrance to pit road. He gets 42nd here today. There's a look at the points. Mathis Wells gaining a slight bit on Brett Sarah, but the number 25 doing what he needs to do right now to just try and maintain that pretty big points that he has, but the last few races has chipped down just a little bit here, Trey.
Yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see what this develops into. Joe, could the curse be over?
Well, Mathis Wells did maybe break that second place curse because he didn't really have much go wrong for him here today. He raced well all day long and
He made his pit box.
Made his pit box and
He made his pit box.
Nearly got a top 5 there in the last lap. So I think Mathis Wells maybe broke that second place curse in points, and maybe now they can start to try and gain on Brett Sarah. The next race could be a big pivotal point in terms of the championship. We've gone to Bristol, Phoenix, Pocono as of late. A lot of those have in common track position racetracks. Well, maybe the most crucial track position racetrack of them all is next on the schedule. We're going to the Watkins Glen International for the Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen. Trey, you know the importance of qualifying well there. In 2000, you started on pole and led every single lap from pole position en route to victory lane. So could we possibly see something like that again? Or will we see something like at Pocono where we weren't expecting too much passing, but we got passing about every lap?
Yeah, very, very true. I mean, the track's always a lot easier to drive when, you don't got to worry about drivers in front of you possibly messing up. It's a lot easier when it's a clear track out and you can just do your thing.
Well, we'll see how the final road course race of the season goes next time out. Just 10 races left in the season. And today it's all about Jay Rando. Another victory on the 2003 campaign, trying to climb himself back into any championship contention he can try and find. Congratulations to he and Roush Racing on a very, very impressive win here today at the Pocono Raceway. For Trey Bardo, I'm Joe Rukowski. So long from the Pennsylvania 500 at Pocono, but tune in next week to JRTV for the Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen.